Oh, sorry. Yes. Right now you can hear me, right? You guys can hear me?
Yes, sir.
Yes. Yes. Now, when you're talking about the source code, now source code is a code or a program which is written by using any programming language. Right. Now that is clear. Right now, uh, let's say when you're talking about the programming languages, if you talk about the programming languages, there are different types of programming, whatever the programming languages. Now some might say a programming language. What is a programming language? If someone asks, you know that is a set of instructions or set of guidelines which enables humans to communicate with computers. Okay, the programming language is a set of instructions which enables humans to communicate with computers. In order to communicate with computers, that allow us an interface. Yes, that is what you call as a programming language. Right, then every programming language has its own right syntaxes, its own pattern. Therefore, we have to, if you are using Java, we need to learn what are the syntaxes or what are the rules of communicating. Right now, we're going to learn that. If you are using Python, then again you have to learn, okay, how in Python, how to communicate with the computer, the rules. Right. And then when you're talking about programming languages, you may heard about structured programming languages, okay, high-level programming languages, low-level programming languages. Likewise, then you may have heard different type of programming languages. Then I'm not going to talk about what are the how structured or what are the object-oriented programming. Likewise, right now, basically, now we know that a programming language is a set of guidelines, set of commands, set of instructions that can be used to interact or communicate with a computer. Therefore, the languages are used to right do many tasks to perform some specific activity which we want. Right, for an example, right now it could be to develop a system, it could be to calculate, it could be to analyze the data, it could be to create some animations or whatever. Right now, you could use for any purpose. Therefore, programming language is a necessary tool because computer or the processor cannot understand what we are saying. Therefore, the processor cannot understand what we say to the processor. Whatever the commands we are giving to the processor cannot understand. Therefore, we have a problem because we can't directly communicate with the processor itself. Because why? The processor does not understand what we are saying. Therefore, in order to fill the gap between, we have to have a programming language. Then programming language has a set of instructions which enables to communicate with the computer. Right now, it will allow us to control or provide commands to the computer. Right, then the main question is why the computer cannot understand English. Why? Okay, why computers cannot understand English?
It should be in ones and zeros.
No, the if it is a English is a what? A language used by humans too. Therefore, computers have difficulty of understanding human languages because it is ambiguous. Whatever that, based on the tone you say, based on the way you say, it gives you different meanings and the context. Therefore, the computer cannot understand the complexity or the context, and it is ambiguous. Therefore, the computers cannot understand the human language. Therefore, right, computer languages have strict rules, logics. Therefore, if you are using a computer language, everyone has to follow the same set of rules, same set of guidelines. Therefore, it cannot be differ from each person to person. Therefore, everyone will have to use the get used to the same set of guidelines. Therefore, um, everyone has to follow the same guidelines. Therefore, the computer can understand. Right now, okay, now we know why computers cannot understand human languages. Right. And again, my question is why most of the program languages in English. Right. Now, why most of the computer languages are written using English? Not only English, yes. If you want, you can start working on developing a programming language in order to work with your own language, because most programs are around the world works in English language. Therefore, if you want, you can have the localized implementations, and then in order to work with certain set of languages, but then you have to start doing for everything from the beginning. Right. Now, okay. Now, whatever we know up to now is okay. The computers cannot understand what we say in real, whatever in natural English. Therefore, right now we have to use a programming language. Then, sorry, a programming language is a bridge which allow us to communicate with the computer. Right. Okay. Then, right now, when you're talking about a programming language, there are high-level programming languages as well as low-level languages. High-level programming languages and low-level programming languages. Now, I want you to quickly, if you know the answer, you can just talk to me. If you don't know, I want you to quickly search and tell me what are the differences between high-level, okay, what is high-level language, what is the low-level language, and what are the differences between high level and the low level languages? I want you to quickly find and tell me. I'll give you 1 minute. High level and low level language. Anyone tell me quickly? High level languages as well as low level languages.
Machine language.
මොකක්ද පුතේ කියන්නේ? Is it high level language is a machine language? Is it?
Low level language.
Then
High level Java.
sorry?
Java, Python.
Okay, now tell me what is what is the definition for a high level language? For what you tell it is a high level language? For what kind of program? Why you call that as a high level code, high level language?
Because it's understandable by human.
Okay, what are the other things? Yes, high level language. Okay, tell me, be specific. High level languages cannot understand by humans.
No, can understandable by human.
High level languages can understand by humans. Okay, then we can say the low level languages cannot understand by humans. Right. Okay. We can say like that. What else? Others? Tell me quickly. Yes, what is a high level language? So, Amandi, were you able to install the Java in the meantime?
Yes, sir.
Right, okay, good. Right. Okay, quickly tell me now, we know programming languages allow us to communicate with the computer. Right. Therefore, it allows us to write instructions for the computer processing unit or the processor to perform whatever the task or the certain task. Therefore, every language, programming language comes with its own set of keywords, set of syntaxes, set of formats in order to write these instructions. Right, then at the very beginning, the programming languages were developed only for specific users, not for all. Therefore, only for the limited set of peoples, right? Therefore, in that programming language, in those programming languages, the level of abstraction from the hardware is very minimal because basically you are dealing with hardwares, right? Therefore, no abstraction. Therefore, at the very beginning, the computer programming languages were developed for not for all the users. That is developed for very limited number of users. Therefore, in those languages, the level of abstraction from the hardware is very minimal or no abstraction at all. But after some time, the others also started using programming languages. Then what are the programming language we develop for all majority has to be higher degree of abstraction. Based of the higher degree of abstraction, right? Programs like now most of the programs which are in nowadays can be used by majority of the users because if they know the basics. Therefore, based on the level of abstraction, we can divide programs into two different categories: low level languages and the high level languages. Now, as one of you said previously, the main difference, now you know the abstraction, the level of abstraction. What do you mean by the level of abstraction? Okay, we can say whether how easy it is to understand, let's say. Then high level languages are, right, easier for programmers to understand, easier to programmer to work with the high level language. But the low level languages are difficult for programmers to understand. It is machine oriented, not human oriented. Therefore, most probably machines can understand. Right. Then we can say there are two type of languages, right? Mainly you can say high level and the low level. Right. Now you can say high level languages, and we can see about low level languages. Sorry, now these days my keyboard has been replaced by another one, and that is not working as I'm expected, as I'm used to. Right. Then the main difference between high level language and the low level language, we can say, right now, high level languages are human oriented. We can say human oriented, where we can say the low level languages are machine oriented. Right now, it is machine oriented because human oriented means user friendly, easy to understand, right? And these were developed with programmers in mind. Therefore, human can easily understand, humans can easily compile, humans can easily interact with these programming languages, and then humans can easily work with. Right. Now, when it comes to low-level languages, machine-oriented, therefore, it is very complex and it's very difficult for humans to understand. Likewise. Right. Now, this is for the humans orientation. Higher languages are easy for humans to work with. Low-level languages are easy for machines to work with. Because machines can easily understand the machine languages or the low-level languages because it is easy. But it is easier for machines to understand. Right. Right. Right now, high-level languages can be executed in different platforms, and high-level languages require a compiler or an interpreter. Now, my question is, quickly find out what is a compiler, right? What is an interpreter? What it does? What it does?
A compile is a special program that translates the programming language's source code.
The compiler is a special tool which translates the
Programming language's
it,
source code.
it translates the source code which is written by using a programming language to a what?
Machine code.
Machine code. Right. Okay. Right. Then what is an interpreter?
Which is also language translator interpreter.
Okay. What else?
And interpreter translate by line.
Interpreted line by line. Okay, there's a main difference between the compiler and the interpreter. Can you understand? What is the main difference? Easy to understand, human friendly, easy to understand, easy interaction. English. Reference, what else? Require compiler interpreter. Anyone quickly tell me what is the right? What is the difference between compiler versus the interpreter? Now you have most of you have done A-level IT, O-level IT. Therefore, you should be able to tell me quickly. Quickly search for the like. That's why Google is there for you. Quickly search. Quickly search and tell me. Read and tell me quickly.
Compiler is fast and interpreter is slow.
Yes, Pute. Why is it compiler? Okay, let's say compiler is fast. Why it is fast? Because we are missing the main point. Yes, the compiler. How does it compile?
Before the execution.
The compiler compile the whole program at once. The compiler compile the whole program at once. And the interpreter interpret line by line. Okay, what are the advantages and what are the disadvantages? Tell me, when you are converting whole program at once, or when you convert in line by line, what are the differences? Tell me quickly. Now, almost 1 hour has been passed, huh? We even not started yet. Yes, tell me quickly. Right now, okay. The compiler. Okay, what is a compiler? Quickly find out compiler versus interpreter. Then now this is about programming language. Now you can mainly divide the programming language into two types: high level, low level, and we have basically discussed about the differences. Right now, tell me compiler versus interpreter. What is a compiler, what is an interpreter, and what is an assembler as well. I'll give you 2 minutes for you to find out, and everyone has to talk. Okay, 3 minutes, because you have to look for compiler, you have to look for interpreter, you have to look for assembler. Send it to me via chat, please. Right now, not just the copy that paste from the website, just read it and understand and send it to me via your own interpretation. Quickly send it to me. Everyone, please do it. Whatever you understand, send it to me. It doesn't matter. Yes, now time is enough. Send it to me via chat, please, quickly. The differences between compiler, interpreter versus assembler. Finish. Right, compiler. There's a special. Right, and then I got compiler translate code from high-level programming language into machine code before the program runs. Interpreter translate code written in a high-level programming into machine code line by line as the code runs. Right. Okay. Also code from high-level programming into machine code. Add that code. Okay, the same thing we have here. Right. Interpreter display all errors line by line? No. Compile translate code written in high level languages? Nowhere on the. Let me. Windows based program that translate the entire source. That's the hotel. Is the compile is Windows based? I don't think so. Netmin is the compile is a Windows based application? Netmin. Okay, fast execution. Directly interpreted by the computer. Okay, this is interpreter for compiler software that converts source code into object code at once. At once. Okay, what this comment says. Source code into object code advance. Right. And translating speed is 5. Interpreter. That is correct. Interpreter. Interpreter software that converts source code into line by line. Okay, translating speed is slow. Very good. Assembler is a machine language that can understood human that can understand the machine language that can understand. What do you mean by this? Hiroshi, understand is the machine language that can understand human, is it? Hiroshi? Hiroshi Purnima. What do you mean by this? Is it as a okay right now? Okay, you all can hear me, right? Can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Yes, you all can hear me, right? Now, you all have microphones, right? Now I'm talking to you. Okay? Now I just ask you to do something and I'm not going to judge you. I'm not going to give you any gift. I'm not going to give you anything, right? Remember that. Okay? Right, yes, the compiler, okay, from the based on these, we could say compiler is what? Compiler and interpreter are both are softwares, right? That is perfect, right? And is it Windows oriented? Is it Windows oriented? Hello, is it Windows oriented? Is it working only for Windows?
No, sir.
No, because even then, how can you work with the Linux version? Likewise, no, you can't, right? Even in Java. Today I showed you when you install the programming language, you can install it for Windows, you can install for Linux, likewise, right? Now, okay. Now we discussed, right? Now, high-level languages, right? The programs written using high-level languages require the machine cannot understand, the computer cannot understand the program written using high-level language because that is human friendly. Right, therefore, that is required to convert the languages written using high level, required to convert into a low level language or machine readable language. We call it as a machine readable language. Right now, okay, tell me beforehand, what are the high level languages? Give me some examples. What are the high level languages? Right, what are the high level languages? Now we're going to learn Java. Is it a high-level language? Is Java is a high-level language?
Yes.
Yes. Right now, most of you have learned Python. Right. Is Python is a high-level language?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes. Right. Okay. Right. Java, Python, C, C++, C Sharp. Right. Then you can say those are high-level languages. Right. Then a language translator is required for these high-level languages to convert the programming language to a machine language or to a machine code, which we call as machine code, object code, right? Machine code or object code. In Java, we call it as a byte code, right? Therefore, right, when you convert the source code to a machine code, right, we need the software in order to do that. Now, that is what you call as a translator. language translator. The language translator could be compiler, it could be interpreter. Compiler or interpreter translates the languages which are written using high-level languages into a machine code. Then using a language, programming language, whatever the code we have written, we call as source code. Therefore, the language translator translates source code to the machine code. Sorry. The language translator translates source code to a machine code. Right. Then the machine code or whatever the converted to machine code, then the assembler. The assembler translates programs written in low level or assembly languages into machine code. Now we said high level languages we have used here like Java or Python. It may use compilers or interpreters to translate or convert this source code into a machine code. Right. In low level languages. In low level languages, therefore, the programs written using machine languages or right now, which is written using machine languages or assembly languages. The programs written using machine languages or assembly languages convert into a machine code is done by the assembler. Assembler translates programs written in low level of assembly language into a machine code. Right. Then assembly language is machine dependent. Right. Assembly language is machine dependent. Right. Now, you know, the computer can understand whatever the instructions in machine code. Therefore, computer cannot directly understand whatever the high level language instructions. Therefore, which is machine independent. Therefore, we need to convert the source code into a machine code, which is done by the translator. Right. Then computer can understand only instructions in machine code. Basically, for an example, you know, which are in binary zeros and ones. Therefore, it is very difficult for a programmer to write a code using a machine code. Therefore, the programmer write the codes nowadays in high-level languages, and these what you call as a source code cannot be executed directly by the computer. Therefore, we have to convert that into a machine language to be executed. Therefore, in order to translate source code to the machine code, we use a special translator, which is a software which used to translate the program written using a high-level language to a low-level language or machine language, which is you call as the language translator. Right. There are translators. We can call it as a compiler, interpreter, and assembler. Right. Then a compiler. Then, right, basically you know that high-level language, whatever the language you have written using high-level language has to be converted, translated into a machine language or the object code or a machine code. Right. Then a compiler, what it does. Right. Now, compiler is a software that you already know, which will convert a high-level language into a machine code. Right. And therefore, how it works is, now you can, if you can remember previously, there was something compiler is fast as the interpreter is slow likewise, because the compiler, the source code is translated to the machine code whole at once. Therefore, all the program converted at once. The compiler translate the source code whole at once. Therefore, all the lines of coding converted to a machine code. Therefore, if it will detect any errors. Now, before you compile, it will check for errors. Now, we said that when we are using a programming language, we have to follow a set of instructions, set of guidelines. Therefore, now compiler will check whether are you following the given instructions, given syntax errors. If it is not, it will show you, okay, in this line, there is an error, correct. Likewise, therefore, It will check for the errors first. Then we call as compiler time errors. Because if you have made a mistake, the compiler will detect it and it will ask you to correct it before compile. Therefore, those you call as syntax errors or the compiler time errors. Therefore, compiler converts the source code into a machine code, whole program at once. Therefore, it should be error free. The syntax error free, compiler time error free at the time it compiles. Successful if there is no errors, and if you have successfully converted, then the compiler will create a machine code, another code which is object code, or you can say machine code, right? Then that is how the compiler works. Then the interpreter. Now interpreter also used to convert whatever the languages written using high level programming language, high level the codes written using high level languages to a machine code. But the interpreter interpret line by line. Therefore, interpreter interpret line by line. Therefore, during the runtime, interpreter interpret line by line. Therefore, if let's say there's an error in line number 10, it will run up to line number 9 and it will stop the program and say, okay, there's an error in line number 10. Therefore, it is a little bit slower than the compiled version because compiler fully converted at the beginning, whole program at once. Therefore, error free. Then it has to be run. Then it will run faster because it is already compiled version. Therefore, it will run faster than the interpreter because the interpreter interpret line by line. Therefore, if there is an error in the statement, the interpreter stops from there. Right, and it will display the error message. Right. Therefore, interpreter interpret line by line, where the compiler compile whole program at once. Right. Now, Python uses an interpreter. Python uses an interpreter, where C language uses a compiler, where Java uses both compiler and interpreter. Java uses both compiler and the interpreter, right? In C, C++, C#, those languages use a compiler. Python uses an interpreter, and Java uses both compiler and the interpreter. Right, then what is an assembler? Assembler is used to translate the programs. Assembler used to translate the programs written using, right now, assembler is translating the programs written using assembly language or a machine language into a machine code. The programs written using assembly languages or machine languages translating into a machine code done by the assembler. Right. Now, okay, I think that's enough, right? And then it's very difficult for you to use the assembly languages because mainly you have very that is machine dependent languages, and depending on the architecture you have different syntaxes. Therefore, machine dependent, and you have very specific keywords and you have to use exactly as given. Right. Right, therefore main differences. Compiler convert the entire program at once, but the interpreter interpret line by line. Right, and therefore compiler is faster compared to interpreter because compiler it will execute the fully converted program, but the interpreter interpret line by line on the fly. Therefore, it will take some time. And compiler may require a lot of memory to generate the machine code, but interpreter require less memory because there will be no object code is generated. Only during the runtime it will, since it is translating. Therefore, compiler will gives us as the output. It will gives us a file which is called as the machine code, but the interpreter will not give us a file because the conversion happens on the fly. Right. Then that is about compile and interpret. Now you need to know, if you want to learn languages, programming language, first you need to know the basics. Therefore, as a homework, you need to go through what are the different types of programming languages, what are the translators, and how each works, and search and have a note on it, read it, and have an idea. If someone asks, okay, what is the difference between compile and interpreter, you should be able to be specific. Right now here, everyone should be able to answer those questions because all of you have done A-level IT, I guess. Most of the majority has done IT subjects and only very few has not done it, whatever the IT, ICT for the O-levels, O-levels, right? Therefore, majority, 90% of you should be able to answer the questions I asked today, right? Now we know about the compiler and the interpreter as well, right? Now let's write a Java program and thereafter we will see, right? Okay, now I want you to open a notepad file, right? Open a notepad file and then we'll start writing our first program and then we'll see how it's gonna work, right? Open the notepad file and then let's write a Java program. Right, now we said that every program has its own set of instructions, own set of guidelines. Like Java has instruction. Every code must be inside a class. Every Java program starts with a class. Therefore, you need to have a class. Then a class. Class is a keyword. Therefore, you have to use CLASS, class. That's a must. You can't have capital C class. Likewise, you can't change it. Class is this. That's a syntax. And class should be followed by a class name. When you're providing the class name, you can't have spaces. Okay, as a habit, right now, please always use a capital letter in order to create a class name. Right now, I'm going to create a class called test. Class test. Right now, remember, always make sure you use the capital letter for the in order to have the class name. Right now, for an example, if you want to write first program, then you can't have first space program. Right now, you can't have a class name like this. If you really want to have something like this, what you can do is you can remove the space and either you can have underscore. You can have the underscore, no worries. But you can't have the hyphen. No, you can have the underscore. Right. Now, okay, before we are writing the class as well, right, let me ask a simple question. Right. Now, when you are writing a class name or variable name or anything, right now you can't have spaces. Now, you can't have spaces. Since you can't have the spaces, right now, how can you differ if you want to have two different names? Let's say we need to have my age or test case. Likewise, if you want to have 2 words or 3 words, student name. Likewise, you want to have different or you want to have 2 or 3 words together in name, but you are not allowed to use this space in between the names. Then how can you do it? How can you use the how can you use multiple? Let's say now you need to create a variable called price of a book. Okay, number of books, age of the student age. Likewise, you need to have multiple words in one name. How can you do that? Because you can't have spaces. Then now, for an example, I'm going to have number. I'm going to have what? Price. Okay, student book price, you can say, no? Book number. Okay, number of books. Number of books. Right, number of books. Okay, let's say we'll have these verbs. Student name. Okay, now you have a variable called name called student name. Okay, now we are going to write a class no first program. First program. Right, now how can you do it? You can't have spaces. Then how can you do it?
Use underscore.
Yes, you can use the underscore. First underscore program. No worries, you can have it. What else? Now this you call as the snake case. Snake case. What do you mean by the snake case? Snake case. Now this is what you call as snake case. Snake case means separate each word with an underscore. Separate each word with underscore, and all the letters are lowercase. Separate each word with underscore, and all the letters are lowercase. Right, now that is what you call as a snake case. Right, now remember, right now this is what you call as snake case. Right, now again, what are the other options? Okay, someone say, why you can use the underscore. If you can use the underscore, you can use the hyphen as well, right? Someone can argue, why can't you use the hyphen? Right, if you use the hyphen, right now, that you can call it as the dash. If you can use the dash or hyphen, like now this you call as the kebab case. Use the hyphen or use the dash apart from the underscore. Then this is what you call as the kebab case. But most programming languages will not allow you to use this character. Therefore, kebab case is not allowed here, right? Yes, then we can go for what? Camel case. What is the camel case? There's something called camel case. How can you do that? Right now, you make all the first letter of the word, each word first letter, right? Not each word. Like first word is like all lowercase, and then the second word. Right now here, it says like this. Now, how you do that? Now, this is what you call as the camel case. The camel case in the sense, first word, lowercase, and all the words, let's say all the letters are lowercase except, so right now if you have except the second word, first character, first letter. Second word, first letter, and how can you say for the rest? And each subsequent word that follows. Right now, here you can see first program. Like now, if you want to have number of books, number of books, number, capital O F, capital B, books, number of books. Right now, if you want to have a price per kilo, right now, if you want to have simple P price per kilo, right? Likewise, if you want, you can have variables or names like this. Right now, this is what you call as a camel case, right? Snake case and the camel case, right? Right. Then we can have, yes, as one of you have suggested, the Pascal case. What is the Pascal case? Pascal case is similar to a camel case. What is the Pascal case? Pascal case similar to the camel case. Right, every word. The first letter of all the letters are lowercase except all the letters are lowercase. Second word, first one, right? Second, except the first letter, except the first letter of the first letter of the second word, and each subsequent word that follows. Right. In the Pascal case is all the letters, all the letters, all the letters are lowercase except the first character, first letter of every word. And now you have first program like this. First program. Every word, first character is in capital letter. Right. Every word, first character is in capital letter. Right. Okay, that is how it goes. Right now, first program. Right, number of books. Likewise, if you have to use. Right now, we were about to write a Java program. Then I want you to use Pascal case when you are using a class. When you are using a Java class, when you are declaring a Java class, I want you to use a Pascal case. When you are declaring a Java variable, I want you to use camel case. Right? Or snake case, it doesn't matter at all. Right. Now, let's write our first program and see how it goes. Right. Now we're going to write a Java class. Right now, let's say class is a keyword that you have to use exactly the same class. First program, then I want you to use capital letter first program. Right. Okay, and then right now then we have to use right. Then we have to remember that every Java class has like in order to define the scope, right? In Python, we have used indentation. Right now here, if you want to define from where to where the class stands for, in order to define the scope, you have to use the curly brackets. Right now, open and close the curly bracket. Now that means from here to until you close the bracket, the Java class is exist. Right now, we have class first program, right? Then, right now, don't worry about understanding the code segments right now because we will talk line by line thereafter. Just for the sake of writing a program, we will be doing this. Right, then we need to run our program, right? We need to display hello world. Like that is the first thing you're going to print using any programming language, right? Hello world. Right, if you want to print hello world or my first program or anything, right? We want to print it in the console. That means output should be displayed here. Right, then, okay, remember in Java, everything, if you want to execute, like inside a class, okay, this is a class, no? Inside a Java class, you can only have variables and methods. You can only have variables and methods. Okay, then someone can tell me quickly what is a variable and what is a method? Quickly tell me what is a variable and what is a method.
Method is a block of code.
Yes, method is set of codes, yes, group of codes, which is used for in order to achieve a specific task, yes, right? A variable is a
Variable used to store data.
variable is used to
Store the data.
variable is used to store data. Yes, variable is used to store data temporarily, right? Okay, inside a class, remember now, inside a Java class, you can have only variables and methods. Therefore, variables is just to use some values, store some values, but a method is in order to achieve specific task. Then we need to have a method, right? We need to have a method, right? Normally, now let me show you how to declare a variable, right? Now, variable, if it is a variable, now we will be discussing in detail about this. Variables can be like, right, like this variable. When you are declaring, you need to have type of the variable and the name of the variable. You need to have type followed by the name and colon. Right now, again, if you want to have assigned value as well, then it has to be variable type name equals and the value. Right now, for an example, you can have a variable called integer type variable. If you want to, let's say integer number. Now, this is how you declare a variable. And if you want to assign a value as well, here integer number equals 7. Right now, this is how basically you can use a variable. Right. Now, if it is a method, every method, remember, every method has to have, you can have access modifiers. You can have access modifiers. Variables also may have access modifiers. Then access modifiers, then you need to have the return type. First, you need to have the return type. Return type of the method and method name and this round brackets in order to specify this as a method. And then you need to have the starting and closing the curly brackets in order to mention this is a scope of this method. Now, for an example, right now, let's say this method is not returning anything. You can have void not returning anything, and the method name as say hello. Method name as say hello. Right. and then you can have something. Right now, if it is returning a number, integer, get price. Right now, that means this method is returning an integer value. The method name is get price. Now, this one is not returning anything, void, and the method name is say help. This is how you simply declare a method. Right now, remember again, inside a class, now for the time being, what I want you to remember is, inside a class, you can have only variables and methods. Inside a class, you can have only variables and methods. And now, method contains set of lines, set of codes, set of statements in order to achieve a specific task, specific purpose. Therefore, now I want to display hello world. Therefore, I have to come up with a method. Right. I have to come up with a method now. Because I want to display something, then that instruction I need to write inside a method. Right. Then, again, when it comes to methods, right now in Java, there is a specific method which you call as the main method. In Java, there is a specific method which you call as the main method. The main method, the name it says the main method. Right now, can you all quickly search about main method in Java? Quickly search about main method in Java and tell me what is special about the main method, or what's inside the main method, and what's importance of the main method. Likewise, quickly tell me. Yes, what is the main method of a Java program? Were you able to figure out?
So it says that it's the starting point for execution of a Java program.
Starting point of the, yes, very important. What is it? Starting
Execute-
point of the,
Execution of a Java program.
yes, every Java program start the execution using the main method. Now, thereafter, when you are using a Java program, if you want to start it, then you have to you have to make sure that you have a main method declared in your program. Then only you can start the program. Otherwise, you can't start it, right? Yes. Now, the very important thing is, yes, the Java program's execution starts from the main method. Now, it's like a driver. Right now, the execution starts with the main method now. Right now, right. How you declare the main method? Did you find anything? How to declare the main method? What is the way of Java main method? How to write the main method? Right now, if you search about Java main method, it will show you Java main method is the default. Right now, here it says main. The main is the starting point of Java virtual machine to start execution of a Java program, right? Therefore, without the main, now remember this is without the main method, JVM will not execute the program. Therefore, if you want to run the program, you have to use the main method, right? Then again, the main method signature is defined, right? The main method has declared with the main method signature. Right now, what is it? You have to type public, static, void, main, and inside the bracket string args, something like this. Then what each does, we will discuss later, right? Not for the time being. Therefore, we will start with defining the main method, right? Now, again, most of you have done Python, right? Therefore, you use indentation, right, in Java also in order to increase the readability of our program, right? Even you can write like this, no worries. Static, public, static, and then void, main. Inside the round brackets, we have string, array, called args, and curly brackets. Right now we could write like this. Right now, but the problem here is if you write all the things at the same indentation, right now we will be you will be not able to understand or identify easily. Okay, now whether let's say you forgot to close the bracket, right? Okay, let's say you have put the bracket also here. Now, whether you have opened the bracket or closed the bracket, you will not be able to easily see that whether you have closed the bracket or not. Therefore, what we do is we will leave some space after this. Right now, here I'll be using a tab space for right now the tab space. Let's say here 2 spaces in order to show that easier for me. Even without this also, you can have even without the indentation, the program will work. Right. Now you can see that clearly you can separate. Now here it's very easy now. Okay, this is the class. This is the main method. You can clearly separate now your Java class. Okay, you know the Java class. Right now Java class start from this point and it ends from this point. Now that you know already. Now here you know because of the brackets you know. Okay, the Java class starting from this point and it finishing by this point. Right? And when it comes to a main method, now again, you know, the main method starting from this point and main method finishing by this point. Why? Because you can clearly see the brackets and the indentation. You can clearly see that now. Right. Now, here, okay, we have declared our class. We have declared our main method. Now, what we wanted to do should be given here. Right. Now, what I wanted to display. Right now, even now, if you type from here, now again, it's not clear, right? Therefore, since this code is inside the main method, I'll be using some space after the method declaration. Right now, I'm going to write, okay, I want to print something to the console. Therefore, there is an inbuilt method. Then I'll be using system dot out, that is the stream print ln print line. Okay, right now you can use print for the time being. Let's say print system dot out dot print and inside the brackets, inside the double quotes, I'm going to say hello world. And remember this semicolon. And end of each line, it is a must to have the semicolon. Right. Right. Now, okay, now this is our program now. We have written using Java language. Now the syntaxes we have used, the Java syntaxes. Now these are the things we followed. Every program must start with a Java class, class keyword. Yes, that's we have followed. And the class must have square brackets, sorry, curly brackets to start and end the scope. And every code should be lies inside the methods, and the main method starts the execution of our program, and every statement, after every statement we need to have a semicolon. Likewise, now we are following some the guidelines or the instructions given. Right, now let's try to compile this and see. Right, now in order to compile this, now I want you to in your desktop, I want you to create a folder in your desktop. Create a folder called, let's say, Java exercises or Java code. Right, now create a folder called Java code or something, and then okay, create it in your desktop. Create a folder called Java code, and then let's save this notepad file inside this Java code folder. Right now, okay, when you are saving this, go to file, click on save, then you will get this window, right? Then select from the folder we have created, which is Java code. Right, now the file name. Right, now remember, when you are saving the file name, okay, as a habit, now we'll use the same name as the class name. It's easier because there are certain scenarios. Right now, for an example, there may be a class with the public class, right? If this keyword comes in front of here, public class, then class name has to be same as the file name. Likewise, there are some requirements. Therefore, for the time being, we'll go with the same name. It's easier, right? Therefore, we're gonna save this class as first program.java. Then select file, save, and go to the Java code folder, and then type the class name first program. Since, okay, there are two ways of doing it. I will tell you the both. Listen to me carefully. Either you can type first program.java, and then save as type, you can select as all files. Type first program.java, select all files. First program.java, select all files, and then click save. Oh, now this is as text document. The type is, leave the type as text document. What you have to do is just type the first program.java inside the double quotes. Type the first program.java inside the double quotes. Right? Here, nothing to deal with the type now. If you do not put the double quotes here, remember to change the type into all files. If you put the double quotes, you don't have to worry about it. Click save. Now you can see in your folder there is a file called first program. There is a file called first program. Right. Right. Now, okay, now we have saved. Have you all saved the file? Is it? Yes or no? Hello?
Yes, I did. Sir.
Right. Okay. Now, okay, let's compile this. Now we're going to invoke the Java compiler. We're going to invoke the Java compiler now. For that, you need to type Java C, Java compiler, Java C, and file name .java. Right now, if you type the file name, now my file name is first program, no? But that is not available in this particular location. Therefore, I'll be getting an error like this. If you type Java C, first program.java, and if I try to enter, then it will tell me that okay, the file not found. Yes, you are not looking at the exact location where you are at the point. Now you are at C users G1. C users G1 in the sense where? Here. Right now you are looking for the file at here, this place. There is no such file at this location. Where is your file? I have saved it in my desktop. Where is the desktop? Here. In the desktop. Inside the Java code folder. Here I have saved it. Therefore, we need to, from the command prompt, we need to get into the exact location. How to go into the exact location? Right. Okay, go to the address bar. Click on the address bar of the Windows Explorer. Here, click on here. Okay, click on here. Right click and select copy. Take a copy of the full path. Right. And go to the command from type cd, change directory, and paste it. CD space, paste it. When you right click, it will get pasted and press enter. Now you will be inside the folder you created. Now previously you were inside this, no? Now you will see you are inside here. Right now, you can type the command Java C first program.java. Okay, quickly type and tell me what happens. Okay, beforehand, we'll make sure capital C as capital C class is capital C class, and the system as simple C as system will change, huh? And yes, that's what, right. And also main method M as capital M, like now certain changes, and save it and type this and tell me what is happening to your code. Okay, try out and tell me quickly. Yes, what's happening now? Okay, now tell me what are you getting now? I'm asking from everyone. Hello. If you were you able to follow me up to this point?
So it gets errors now.
Yes, it gives you errors, obviously, because we have changed the code. Okay, let's see what are the errors we are getting. Right now, when you try to compile this, now again it says file not found. Why? Yes, first program is not there, first program is there, right? Yes, that's spelling mistake. Right, yes, it gives you an error. Right, okay, now the file is there. Right now you can see here, it gives me there are some errors. Right now, what are the errors? It says, okay, altogether there are 3 errors. Right, okay, what is the first error? In the line number 1, class in interface enum or record expected class. You can't have the class as capital C, therefore it is underlined. Now see here, okay, we have to change the class is a keyword. Okay, simple C. Right, then again it says public static void main. Right now here again it gives you right now the error with the Java class is the problem and for the time being. Right, okay, now let's save this one and let's try to recompile again. Now again it says what? Again in the line number 5, which is the line number 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 here. In this line, error. Package system does not exist. Okay, there is no package core system because in Java has capital S system. Right, therefore let's change it to capital S. Right, now let's correct it. Right, and saved it. Right, now again recompile. Now, no errors. It got compiled successfully. Right, what happens? You can see there's a new file created in our folder. Okay, that should be the bytecode or the machine code. We said, yes, in Java, remember, after successfully compiling the source code, Java creates a bytecode instead of a machine code. Java creates an intermediate code which we call as the bytecode. Java creates intermediate code which we call as the bytecode with the extension dot class, and a bytecode has the same name as the class name. Bytecode has the same name as the class name with the dot class extension. Right, now this is a class file. We can call as a class file or the byte. Now if you want to run this, you need to type Java space class file name without dot class. Java space file name without dot class and run it. Now run this and tell me whether you got the output as hello world. Did you get it? Try out and tell me quickly. Yes, what are you getting? Will you be able to get the output?
Yes, sir.
Yes, I doubt it. Now, my case, I can't. Why is it? Because right now Java has predefined main method signature. Java has predefined main method signature. Right, then what does it say? Error, main method not found. Even though we have declared the main method, now Java says, the compiler says, the Java interpreter says now, no, we are unable to locate the main method. Therefore, please define the main method as. Right now, it provides us a signature. Therefore, this is the signature of the main method. Public, done, static, void. Main is simple MAIN. Simple main. Right, because we have used capital M. Therefore, that is not considered as main method. Right, therefore, Java main method is simple MAIN. Right, now remember that. Do the change. Save it. Right now, again compile it. Again, it will generate the bytecode. If you want to make sure that again, delete the bytecode from your folder. Again, compile. That will generate the bytecode here, see? And then type Java and without the dot class extension, Java first program, and press enter. Right now, it will give you hello world. Right now, this is how you execute a Java program. Now, what are the things we have learned here? The mainly, right, everything in Java, every code in Java is inside a class. Therefore, you have to use the keyword class, CLAS symbol. Class name should be followed by the class keyword should be followed by the class name. As a right, remember as regularly use a capital letter when you're declaring the class name. And brackets are used to define the scope. And main method signature is public static void main string args. And again you use the curly brackets to define the scope. Here we use system.out.print to print the hello world. Right now, this is how you get the print hello world. Right now, I want you to change print into println and save it. And let's say println and then save it again, run it and tell me, is there any difference between print and println? Quickly figure out and tell me, is there any difference between print versus println? Quickly tell me, Pute, because the time is running quickly.
Just the Google says there is.
Sorry,
So I searched from Google.
I can't hear you. Sorry.
I searched from Google, sir.
No, don't search from Google. Just type and see. Just type println, save it now. This is what you have to do. Type, save, right click, Control S or file save, and go to the command prompt, compile it, and run it. Now what happens? Now this is the difference you would be able to see. What is it? In order to see this clearly, we'll have another line. This is my first program, oh hello world, and then we'll have one more line saying first program. Right now, initially we'll use it print method. We'll work in the print method, and then I'm gonna remove these annotations now. Right now, you can go ahead with the print method, and save it and then compile and then run it. Now you will see this is how you will see it, and thereafter use the println method, save it and then again compile, then the way you see it. Okay, do you see any difference? And if you can identify any difference, tell me what kind of difference you can identify there.
It's not in the same line, sir.
Yeah, what's the difference there?
Println printing in new line.
It's not in the same line, sir.
Sorry?
It's not in the same line.
Yes, what happens here is print method prints and the cursor keeps on the same line. Therefore, the next line also prints and the cursor keeps on the same line. But println, it prints and move the cursor to the next line. That's why hello world, cursor to the next line. First program, cursor to the next line. That's why here you can see a space. Therefore, println prints and move the cursor to the next line. Print method, keep the cursor on the same line. Right. Is that clear now? Right. Now, how to compile the Java code? Tell me how to compile the Java code. What is the command? Hello. How to compile the Java code? Now, I'm asking from everyone. How to compile a Java program? I want to compile. Tell me how to do that. What is the command? Otherwise, I'm gonna stop. Right, Java Z space file name. File name is first program dot Java. Java C first program dot Java. Right. Then when you compile it, if there is no compile time errors, it will create the bytecode for us. Then how to execute this?
Bytecode.java.
Yes, file name which is okay. We have typed Java, and then dot class file name without dot class extension and press the enter. Right, you will be able to get the output. Right now, this is the way you compile, and this is the way you interpret. Right now, after Java 11 upgrade, after Java 11. Right now, let me show you a way of doing this. Right now, okay, if you type, now remember this, there are two different command sets. This is the one way of doing it. And if you just type Java and file name.java, if you type Java file name.java, see, remember now I have removed the bytecode here, and then this does not generate the bytecode. It will give you the output on the fly. It will give you the output on the fly, and it will not generate the bytecode. What happens actually? Because after Java 11, when you use the Java file name.java, that compiles and that runs the file, but the compilation happens in the backend or the behind the scenes. Therefore, without physically creating a bytecode or without physically creating .class file, it directly loads the bytecode to the Java virtual machine. Therefore, when you use Java file name.java, it will, from the behind the code, that behind the user interface, like here, or from the backend, it will generate the bytecode on the fly and load that into the JVM. Therefore, we will not see the bytecode which is generated like first program.class. Okay, now this is if you have only single file programs, right? If you have a single file program, you can, if you want to run it, you could use like this. Single file programs, like if it is a single file programs. you can run it like this, right? Therefore, hereafter you don't have to go ahead with the two commands like this, Java C file name.java and Java file name, right? You can just type Java file name.java, which will not create the bytecode and which will just give you the output. Okay, try out that as well quickly. Right. Okay, now, right now, let me quickly go through the some basics of the background of Java programming and how it works. We'll quickly go through. Right, most of the parts we can skip first and then we can go ahead. Right. And basically we discussed this already. No point of I can't remember whether we have go through this or not. Have we done this? All right. The evolution of Java, right? We will go from here. This was introduced in 1995, which was 1.0 version. And nowadays we are using JDK 22, right? And yes, we are using JDK 22. And James Gosling has introduced Java in 1994. And this was originally named as Oak, and the original symbol was this. Right, now this was the original symbol. And that was a part of the Green project at the Sun Corporations. And that was to make consumer electronic devices communicate with each other using a special programming. As a result of this, Java introduced. And by the time when the Java was introduced, there was C, C++, and the advantages over C and C++ was right now in C and C++, everything is depends on pointers. But the Gosling has removed pointers from Java. That means still Java uses pointers, but not the programmer handles the pointers. The pointer means, okay, what is a pointer? Pointer means like if you want to access whatever the files available in your memory, that means whenever the variables are created, you store values temporarily. In order to access those, you may use pointers, right? Then simply reference to a memory address, memory location. Then when you're trying to access a memory location, right, then here Ghosting has removed pointers from Java because the Java uses pointers, but programmer does not handle the pointers. The program itself handles the pointers. Therefore, as a developer or as a programmer, we don't have to deal with the pointers because all the pointers handled by the Java program itself. Therefore, all the objects are referenced by pointers in Java as well, but the language handles them, not the program. And then we discussed that the Java program is platform independent. Right, okay. Okay, let me quickly explain what you mean by platform independent. Right now, when you download Java, if you were there the first day, I showed you, when you're downloading Java, you can download Java for Windows, JDK for Windows, right? The Java compiler. Java compiler for Windows, Java compiler for Mac OS, Java compiler for Linux, likewise. You could download it, right? Why? Because there are different Java development kits based on your operating system, right? But once you install, remember that when you install JDK, that means you are installing a virtual machine. Okay, now quickly someone tell me, what is a virtual machine? What is a virtual machine? What is a virtual machine? What is a virtual machine?
A machine that we can't touch.
Sorry? A virtual machine. You may have used it already. A
Not a
virtual computer?
Not a physical device.
Yes, not a physical computer, then it is a software only computer. Yes, virtual computer means software only computer. Okay, tell me where you have used it. Have you used the virtual computers?
Amazon Cloud Server.
Right, now, okay, like now when normally when you are using, let's say now, I will tell you, when you are at the first semester of your university, most probably, we may used to work with I'm talking about the general scenario, sometimes it may not apply to you. You may be using Windows, okay? And once you go to your university or somewhere, and they will tell you that, okay, we'll be doing the practical sessions using Linux. Okay, we'll be doing practicals using Linux. And then you may want to install the Linux as well as operating system to your computer. But since you may have the original versions or the Windows Light versions or anything, and then you do not want to install another operating system into your computer, then what will you do? You will download a virtual computer, Oracle VirtualBox or VMware likewise. It's a software, third-party software, which once you install the operating system, which act as a computer inside another computer, right? And then there you will install whatever to that operating system, and then you will use it. And then how actually it works? On top of your Windows operating system, you have installed another software, and that software allowed to work it as its own computer, which is a software only subcomputer, right? A virtual computer. Like for an example, Oracle VirtualBox, VMware, so on. There are a lot of applications. Likewise, in Java, right? You may have heard the word write once, run anywhere. That means the code we have written just while ago, or the code we have compiled just while ago, the bytecode or the .class file can be run on any computer which has Java installed, the same version. Right, then how it is possible? Because when you are installing Java means you are installing Java virtual machine. That means we all have installed Java virtual machine. Therefore, now the code we have written is compiled, right? Everyone's code we have written is get compiled according to the Java virtual machines requirement. Then the code we have written working with in the Java virtual machine. Therefore, everyone, if you have installed, it doesn't matter. I have Intel processor, I have a whatever the other type of other different architecture processors, AMD, Intel, or Silicon processors, it doesn't matter at all. If you have installed Java, that means you have installed JDK, that means you have installed Java virtual machine. Then all the codes we have written converted according to the JVM, Java virtual machine. Then that code can run on any computer which has JVM. Therefore, write once, run anywhere. You don't have to write again and again for each program, each computer, each processor. Only one time run. That is compatible with anywhere where you have installed Java. Why? If you have installed Java, that means you have Java virtual machine. Therefore, you could write once and run anywhere, any number of times. And it is powerful. And it is secure. It has security features. And it provides high performance. Why? Java virtual machine is being optimized to work with even very less resource computers as well in high efficiency. Therefore, Java supports for networking as well. Right. The security features, I'll just go through. Java checks for the compiler time errors. Now, even if you remember now, previously we had some errors in our code, and then it checks for the compiler time errors, because compiler checks to make sure the code is safe before it runs. And Java has something called garbage collector, which runs automatically whenever you have null reference objects. And Java check for the array boundaries and so on. We will discuss these later on. Therefore, Java has some security features as well. Right. And how Java evolved, that means what happens when Java version upgrades. When a version upgrades, right, number of classes, number of libraries, number of packages, it increases. Therefore, it optimizes for the efficiency. The fast, more powerful codes are there. Therefore, more interactions with the other components. The other language supports. Likewise, then version upgrades, it gives you many new features. Therefore, basically number of classes get increases. Right now, for an example, you can see here, right, in Java version 1.02, it had only 250 classes. But when it comes to Java 5.0, it is much faster compared to Java 1, and it has inbuilt 3,500 classes. Therefore, now there are many things which in here, whatever the things you have to write by your own code, now no longer you have to do it. Why? Already it is declared as a class, then you just need to call it. Therefore, here, when the version, now we are using JDK 22, Java 22. Right, Java 22 we are using now. See how many classes we have now. Right, therefore, the number of version upgrades, many features has been introduced likewise. Now, this is how the versions has been introduced. JDK 1.0, which is OC 1996. Now we are using JDK 22 and JDK 23 will get introduced on September 2024. Right. Right now, then we are going to talk about a little bit important part which you need to remember. Architecture. Java architecture has 4 separate but intertwined technologies. What are those? Java programming language, which we have already discussed. Java class file, which we have discussed. Java API, no, we have not. And Java virtual machine, barely we know. Right, okay, let's go ahead quickly. What is the Java programming language? That is the language we use to write our code. And that is source programs are written using the Java language. And all procedural codes falls within the methods, and programs are compiled into Java class file. Once you write the code, source code, compile into Java class file, which we call as a bytecode. And Java classes are running in the Java virtual machine. Therefore, in order to run the Java class, it is assisted by application programming interface or the Java API. Right. Now, this is what happens. You write the source code here, Java source code, and then using the Java compiler, you compile it, and you get the bytecode. This is the bytecode, which is the class file. And then this class file feed into the Java virtual machine. Right, Java virtual machine. Right, now, if you can remember our code, we had what? Let me show you our Java class. We had, okay, we were using another package system, package println method. We have been using a method which we have not declared. Therefore, this method is from the system package. Okay, the println method. Okay, now where is it? This println method, it is from Java we are using because we are passing only this. This is what we are calling. We are using inbuilt methods. Therefore, those methods has to be loaded now. Who does it? That is that part done by the Java API. Java API, with the support of Java API, it loads the necessary files and Java virtual machine interpret it line by line and gives the output to the console or the graphical user interface. Then this is what happens. Is this clear? Is this
Yes.
clear? Yes.
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Right, thank you. Right, then bytecode. Java class file, which is the bytecode. What is the bytecode? The source code converted to the bytecode. But in Java, this is not the conventional programming languages. This is not the machine code. This is an intermediate code. This we call as the bytecode. And bytecode means Java programs are compiled according to the Java virtual machine. Bytecode is the result of Java compiler, which is low-level code similar to machine code, but which is generic and not specific to any particular processor because this is compiled according to the Java virtual machine, right? Therefore, bytecode is fed to the Java virtual machine, which will interpret one by one with the help of Java API. Then Java virtual machine. Virtual machine is a software-only subcomputer within the operating system, which converts Java bytecode into a machine code and executes. Java virtual machine converts the bytecode into a machine code and executes. Therefore, bytecode has been compiled according to the Java virtual machine. Therefore, wherever you have the virtual machine installed, you can run the bytecode. Therefore, you have to write your program only once, compile only once, and you can run many number of times. And every time you run, it will interpret from the beginning. Right. Java virtual machine is platform dependent. That's why when you are downloading JDK, you had to download for Windows, you had to download for Linux, you had to download for macOS, likewise platform dependent. Because you need to download the software which is working with the operating system and then that install the Java virtual machine. Therefore, bytecode talks to the JVM, JVM talks to the operating system, and then you get the output. All right. And now the virtual machine is like this. You have on top of the operating system, we have the virtual machine, and the virtual machine we feed our bytecode, which is the class file, to the virtual machine. With the help of Java API, it loads the necessary class files and it interprets line by line and it gives communicate with the host operating system. That's how it works, right? And then Java API, which is called as Application Programming Interface, which is set of classes and interfaces which comes with the Java runtime environment. When the version upgrades, Java runtime environment increases the number of classes and number of interfaces increases. This is a very huge collection of library routines which performs basic programming tasks. Now here we have used a println method just to display. Looping, displaying, iterating, likewise sorting, likewise there are a lot of common tasks are already defined in the application programming interface. Right. Then when you feed a bytecode into a Java virtual machine with the help of API, it loads all necessary Java files and then interpret line by line. That's how it works. Because of the bytecode and Java virtual machine, you compile your program once into the bytecode and you can run it anywhere where you have Java installed, and every time you run, it will interpret it naively every time it runs. Write once, run anywhere. It doesn't matter whether you have Java installed on Windows, Mac OS, or Unix. Doesn't matter because bytecode runs on the Java virtual machine, and every platform you can have the Java virtual machine. Therefore, that runs on the Java virtual machine. Therefore, no worries. And you have different types of applications like console-based applications, and you can have applets. Applications means console-based or the graphical user interface based, or you can have applets as well. Here we'll be talking only about Java application, which is run directly on the Java virtual machine, which are either console-based applications or graphical user-based applications. Right, we'll be dealing with these. Right. Therefore, Java architecture has been set unique because it can work without any modification on any platform, on any operating system, if that platform has Java virtual machine. Why again? Because Java codes are compiled to according to Java virtual machine. Therefore, if you have JVM installed, you can run that file on anywhere. Right? Okay, then we are going into Java. We have discussed about JVM, JRE, JDK, and then we have talked about WP concepts, and Java uses both compile and interpreter. Java compile and provides a bytecode, and we feed bytecode to the JVM to interpret. Therefore, write once, run anywhere. Right. Then the programming primary goals of Java is to have code portability. Now, code portability has achieved using Java virtual machine. Right now, we have discussed, and the speed of development also is enabled by optimizing the Java virtual machine to run on even very less resource computers in high efficiency. Right, and also it will supports the dynamic changes. Therefore, change programs dynamically also. Right. Then when it comes to Java, in order to work with Java, there are development tools also has been introduced. Right now, in development tools are, okay, what is an IDE? IDE stands for Integrated Development Tool Environment, Integrated Development Environment. Right now, IDE. Right now, let me show you an Java IDE. And then tell me what are the differences between Notepad and an IDE, right? Okay. Tell me the differences between Notepad and the IDE. Cannot find. Yes. Right now, this is NetBeans IDE, which we'll be using later on, not right now. After a few weeks' time, we'll be using this. Right now, when you're using NetBeans IDE, right now, let's say you have to use a project first, new project. And I'm going to use Java with Maven. You can see Java with Gradle, Java with Ant. Right, then I'm going to go ahead with Maven because this is recommended for the beginners. And even you can see the project types available. Here we'll be using Java application. Click next. And you can provide the project name for your application. And if you want to specify in a package, you can define the package as well. We will discuss this later on, what this does. Right, just click on the next. Right. Once you have your program, let's say, once you have created the application, it will create a default application as well. Now I don't need it. Let's say I'm gonna delete it. Right, now I have application. I have created Java application with no source files. Right, now let's create a source file. Right, now right click on the source packages and select new Java class. Let's say I want to create as a test. Then type the name as test, class name, that's it, and click finish. Right, then it will create a class file called test.java. Right, now see, if you want to write the main method, now we have to type public static void main. So now you just need to type PSVM and press the tab. PSVM and press the tab key. Now it will gives you the generated code. And we wanted to write main method. Now it's easy, PSVM and tab key. If you want to write system.out.println, type SOUT and press the tab key. Then system.out.println. Even if you made a mistake here, right, it will be underlined. It will show you the error. Package system does not exist. Right, then you can change it. And you don't have to wait till compiling because it will underline and it will show you the errors. And if you forget the semicolons, let's say hello world, if you type, it will be underlined. If you move your mouse over it, it will see cannot find symbol variable hello world. This is not a variable right now. Therefore, it will you will be able to add the double quotes. Right, now see. And even if you miss the semicolon, right now entire line will be underlined. And then you will see here semicolon expected. See, therefore it will suggest you don't have to compile it in order to see the output. Right, thereafter, if you want to run this, you can compile it by clicking on this build main project. Now you don't have to type any Java commands. And once you've done it, you can click on this run project to run your file. Right now you will get an error because previously I have deleted the default file. The default file was maven project 3.java. Now this is looking for that file, then it will give you an error, class not found. Therefore, let me assign it to, okay, run this file, run the main class as this, select main class and click OK. Right now, if you click on this run file, run project, that will run the project. Now you don't have to use a command prompt, you don't have to use a compiler, you don't have to manually compile. Once you write, you don't have to even compile. You can just, let's say, my first program, you do whatever the change and you don't have to compile again and again. You just need to click on this one and it will give you the output. And now you can see everything at one place here. Text editing, output, console, Java compiler, and everything happens in one place. Not only this, you can start working with the graphical user interfaces. You can have JFrame. And then let's say here, this is your application. And right now, even if you open a JFrame here, let's say you have a label. And what you want to do is, let's say when you have a button, like for an example, and if you click on the button here, I want you to, let's say this is my button, and if I click on this button here, I want to display hello here in this label. That's what I want to do. Let's say now I can write this code now. We will discuss this later how to deal with this. I'll just show you. Then it will suggest me the code as well. See, if I can't remember what to do, it will suggest me the code. And let's say hello world. I want to display hello world. And now if I run this file, now it will show you an Java window graphical user interface. And then like this. And when I click on this button, it will display hello world. See, now when you click on this button, we'll instructed to display hello world. Likewise, you can easily develop programs. This will allow us to create the programs easily. Like not only this, right now we just done this, right? But you can see from the back end of this code, it has generated automatic codes in order to achieve that task. It has added a label, it has set the values. Like I see, these codes automatically generating. Therefore, using an IDE, we can make our work easier, faster, very convenient. It will detect the errors, it will show us the errors. It will integrate with other tools very easily. Not only this, you can debug, you can profile, you can check the efficiency, you can test the performance. Likewise, you can check a lot of things using an IDE. Therefore, IDEs are very useful to develop programs, but since we are at the very beginning stage, we'll be dealing with the command prompt and notepad for certain time, and thereafter, once you are ready with it, we'll be going ahead with an IDE. Right. Then Java platform. Mainly after 1.5, I think mainly after 1.5 we have Java, we have Java SC, Java EE, Java 1.4 I guess. I can't remember. Java SC, EE, ME, FX likewise. Then SC for the standard edition, EE for the enterprise edition, ME for the micro edition, FX for rich internet applications. Right, therefore, Java has supports for various platforms. Instead of having a very huge package for all the platforms, it has divided into specific editions. Then here, standard edition for the desktop-based applications, EE for the enterprise web-based applications, ME for the micro editions for the mobile-based or the resource-constrained devices, FX for the rich internet applications. Here we'll be using Java SC, standard edition, Java SC. And this is how you write Java code. We have already done it. And this is how you compile and how you execute. This is already discussed. Right, then we have to start with the Java variables and so on. But I'm not going to start now about variable naming conventions and everything. Here we just discuss the basics, right? Even if you can't remember them all, just forget. What you need to remember is, as a summary, what is a high-level language? What is a low-level language? What is a compiler? What is an interpreter? What is an assembler? And how to compile a Java program? And how to interpret a Java program? How Java virtual machine and what is Java virtual machine? How it works? And what is a bytecode? And what is Java API? And how Java achieves the code portability? And those things I want you to remember. Like, I don't want you to remember any of these statements or the rules, like class start with simple C. Likewise, don't worry. Next day onwards, we'll be dealing with a lot of exercises, projects, codes. Therefore, you'll be able to remember, you'll get used to those. Right, now, up to now, whatever we have discussed, if you have any questions, I want you to ask. Because now, we have to learn about syntaxes. And then we have to learn about how to, okay, beforehand, let's say now in your program, if you want to display, right now, this is a program, like let's say now you want to have a note on your program. If you want to have a note on your program, right? If you want to keep a note for you, yourself, how to do that? Then if it is a one-line comment, we call as comments. If it is a one line, use 2 forward slashes like this. let's say class is a keyword. If you want to write class is a keyword. Right now, class is a keyword. And class name, right now you can have one line. And then the second one, class name start with as a habit, okay? Start with the capital letter, uppercase letter. Always start with the class name, start with the uppercase letter. And no spaces in the class name. Right, if you do not use these, what happens here is the compiler try to compile these. Now compiler will try to compile and it will give you errors. Okay, let me save it first. Once you save, and then if you compile, then it will give you an errors because now these are not according to Java syntaxes. Therefore, you need to avoid compiling these. You need to ignore these when you are compiling. In order to do that, if it is just one line, you can go ahead with single line comment. This is how you make a single line comment, right? And then you can see it. Okay, now it has been ignored. But now, if you want to explain many things right now, if you don't want to explain using one line, if it is multiple lines, right? You can have multiple line Java comment for multiple lines. Like now, this is for the single line comment, multiple line comments, right? Let's say forward slash asterisk right now, main method use the exact signature for the main method. And like we have to use the exact signature for the main method, and you can say main method start the main method starts the execution of the program. Execution of the program, and when the main method finishes, the program terminates, the execution terminates. Terminates, right? At the end of the main method, the execution terminates, right? When main method finishes, right, the execution terminates, right? Likewise, you can have multiple lines, no worries. And then here, if you want to close the multiple line comment, you could use asterisk and the forward slash, right? Now, therefore, this is how you use for multiple line comments. Right now, in your code, you can have your own comments like this for your reference. And then system.out.println is a method to print something, and then whatever you have to put here should be a string value. Therefore, you have to have double quotes in order to make it as a string. Likewise, whatever the comments you want to have, you can have in your program, and then these are for your reference. These are for when someone is reading your code for their reference, not for. This is not required to compile. This is not required for interpret. This is just for your reference. Right now, this is how you deal with the comments, right? Single line comments and the multiple line comments. Right, therefore, remember as a must, curly brackets are used to define the scope. If you open the curly bracket, close the curly bracket. Right, as a must, remember that. Right now, then don't worry about the system out print. You will remember later on. Now, this is how you call the println method. And remember, at the end of each statement, you need to have a semicolon. Those are must. Right. And also, when you are using the main method, don't worry about these public, static, and whatever inside here. Don't worry. We will be discussing later what are those, and eventually you will get used to those. Right. But just for the time being, remember what is public. You have, if the main method is public, static, void main. Remember like that. Okay. Any questions up to now? Please ask. Do you have any questions up to now? No questions?